Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talk with AVC. We are now onto our college football segment, and it's playoff time, and it's bowl time. It's basically the end of the college football regular season, and we're now moving into bowl games and playoffs. And I'm just going to address some of them rather quickly and just talk about which ones I think are really interesting. So honestly, the most interesting one, in my opinion, is outside of the playoffs, because we'll get to the playoffs in a minute. But the most interesting one outside of the playoffs, in my opinion, is actually Michigan versus Alabama. Specifically for the point that I think this is kind of a cool matchup. You know, you got two of the most well-recognized college football brands in America, in Michigan and Alabama. You have fans from both teams who travel very well. This is going to be just a pure bragging rights game, and I think it's going to be really good. Now, if you're John Harbaugh and you want to make a case to save your job, even though you couldn't beat Ohio State, this is the game you need to win. If you can beat Alabama, that's what people are going to remember from this season then. If you beat Alabama, look, did you lose to Ohio State? Yes. Did you lose to Penn State? Yes. Did you make the playoffs? No. But you beat Alabama. That's something to talk about going into next season. You won against the most traditionally powerhouse school in the nation. It doesn't matter that they don't have Tua. They've shown that they can score plenty of points without Tua Tagovailoa. That's not the issue here. Michigan, this is a must-win for Michigan. This is also a must-win for Alabama because Alabama is starting to feel vulnerable lately, especially this season with all of their competitive games, them losing pretty much. So they're going to get hurt in the standings next year if either they don't have a good schedule or they don't win their bowl game. So this is a must-win for both teams, and I find it very entertaining. Then there's also the Rose Bowl, which is God, I'm forgetting. I want to say it's Oregon and Georgia. I want to say. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it's Penn State. I'm going to look really quickly, but the Rose Bowl I know is a Pac-12 and either Big Ten or I actually can't remember now. Hang on, I gotta check. Big Ten. It's Oregon and Wisconsin. Sorry, and I think that should be a really interesting game. This is another game for Justin Herbert to try to solidify himself as one of the top QBs in the draft class, and for Oregon to help themselves for next season, maybe place them in the top 5 in the rankings. I know Oregon is a team that I'm very disappointed in this year. I really thought they had the pieces to try to make a college football playoff run. And they dropped 2 games they had no business losing. You know, you can blame the athletic director all you want for them scheduling their hardest game of the year, week 1. You can blame them for that all you want. For them having Auburn week 1. But you were facing a freshman quarterback. And I want to say you were at home. I think maybe you were on the road. I can't remember. But you were facing a freshman quarterback. You had the more talented team, and you let them beat you on a fluke near the end of the game. That was kind of disappointing. Partially why they didn't drop so far in the beginning. But then you lose to Arizona State. You get hit early, and you just never really recovered. And God, it was ugly. And then you go into the Pac-12 championship and you embarrassed Utah, who Utah was going to make the college football playoffs if they won. And you embarrassed Utah. This is why Oregon bothered me, because they were a team I really thought, and I would have rooted for probably had they made the playoffs, but disappointing. I do wish them luck in this bowl game against Wisconsin. Wisconsin, this is kind of a prove it game because I liked you in the beginning of the year, and then you lost to some weird teams, and then you lost twice to Ohio State, who was clearly the better team than you. But then you lost to Illinois. Like, this is a chance to get some of that credibility back for next season. Minnesota Auburn should actually be a good bowl game, but that should just be entertaining to watch. Nothing really crazy about that. The one that bothers me is this one, which is partially because I'm a Notre Dame fan. Actually, also check out Boise State versus Washington. That should be cool. Notre Dame is playing Iowa State. And this bothers me for a couple reasons. I'd be on record saying Notre Dame as an independent, I get it, but it annoys me. They play 5 ACC teams every year and are basically an ACC affiliate, but aren't actually a member of the ACC. So they lose out on a big bowl game like the Orange Bowl every year, and it makes it harder for them to get to the national championship. They have to go completely undefeated every single year. And even then, it's a long shot. Even then, it's a try shot. But really, who would you rather see in a New Year's 6 Orange Bowl game? Would you rather see number 9 Florida versus, I think they're like 15 Notre Dame, who really should probably be ranked like 13 Notre Dame? Or would you rather see 9 Florida versus number 24 Virginia, who just got the crap kicked out of them by Clemson, who barely beat Virginia Tech? Look, this is going to be a New Year's 6 blowout. Florida is just going to dominate this game. And quite frankly, it's a waste of TV time. Virginia fans don't travel well either. So, quite frankly, in my opinion, it's a waste of a bowl game. I know I'm also a person who believes the bowl affiliate game should kind of be axed. I think they should axe that and just have ranking seeds play each other, like outside of the top 4, 5 play 6, 7 play 8, 9 play 10. I think that'd be more interesting. But I understand the reason why they have the affiliate games. It's to guarantee money for the conferences. But it's rather annoying when you're a fan of a team like Notre Dame, like I am. So now we're going to get into our college football play preview. I'm not going to cover the Heisman here because I've already covered that in a previous video. If you want to go watch that, my pick is still Joe Burrow. It's still Joe Burrow, Chase Young, in my opinion, and I think Burrow just this last game against Georgia proved it's him. So the playoff preview. We have LSU and Oklahoma and Ohio State and Clemson. I'm going to go LSU, Ohio State National Championship. I think that's a pretty obvious pick, but still, it's just the easiest way to pick, and I'll explain why really quickly. Why Ohio State? Well, Clemson just is unproven. I don't trust Clemson because I have no reason to trust Clemson. Clemson has played absolutely no one this year, and not that say that they don't deserve to be here, but they just don't have a quality win that I can point to and say that's why they're a national championship team. I just don't have that. I see them win a bunch of – they win the games they should win, and they win them heftily when they should win them heftily. But that doesn't show me anything, if you get what I mean. There's no team in the ACC that pushed them at all. I'm really looking forward to next year when they play Notre Dame in the regular season. That should be awesome. But I have Ohio State winning that game. I just think Ohio State is probably the most complete team out of all 4 of these teams. And if they start fast like they can, get J.K. Dobbins the ball early and Chase Young's unleashed, good luck stopping Ohio State. And then the other one is obviously LSU and Oklahoma. For Oklahoma, you're jumping with joy for this matchup. This was probably the best matchup you could have asked for. They didn't want to play Ohio State. That's basically what it was. You didn't want to play Ohio State. You wanted to play either Clemson or LSU. LSU, out of the 3, Clemson, Ohio State, and LSU, probably has the weakest defense. Now, again, it's kind of hard to judge that because Clemson hasn't played anyone, so you can't really judge their defense against a quality opponent. But in my opinion, that's just what it is. Ohio State definitely has the best defense out of all 4 of these teams. So that's why I kind of give them the edge. But this should be a classical style shootout game. This should be a lot of fun to watch, LSU and Oklahoma. That should be a really, really fun game to watch. And, I'm just looking forward to enjoying it. But I think LSU will just nudge them out. I think they'll make 1 or 2 more plays on defense to nudge them out. And we're going to get to see LSU and Ohio State. I would love LSU, but again, I always err on the side of who is the more complete team. For prediction, I have Ohio State. I want LSU, but for prediction, I have Ohio State winning. If they can just play the football that we've seen them play against teams all year. That's really just don't do what you did in the first half versus Wisconsin. That's a bad idea. All right, well, that's going to be the college football segment. We'll be back in a minute with the NFL segment. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next segment.